How do you get your funding? And what are the procedures for your spendings? Where do the monies go? Mr. Idowu, do you think that CSOs are transparent enough? Perhaps you could speak for yourself and talk about the process of funding and how impactful it has been, or open it has been.
I think the most transparent institution you see in Nigeria now are the civil society, the NGOs, registered ones. I think, let me put it here. As it is today, I think if the bill to regulate civil society, nobody is saying we should not regulate civil society. But if you are talking about you want to set up a regulatory body to regulate civil society, number one, I see that as a duplication of effort. Number two, I just see it as a means of just wasting public money, taxpayers' money, to begin to pay people to do what other institutions are doing. But if you really want to, regulate civil society, I think maybe you should regulate or strengthen the existing structure that regulates civil society. And I give you an example. I think the Honorable talk about, where do we get the money from? How do we spend it? Do we release it? As we stand today, civil society, NGOs in Nigeria go through 14, and I said 14, I can start mentioning them, layers of registration. Layers of registration. Let me just mention like about 4 to you. Do you even know that we have, is under the law mandated to register with EFCC under the School Moon Act? No bank will open for you as a civil society, an NGO in Nigeria, if they don't see that certificate from EFCC. So that is number one. Number two, again, under that EFCC, we report every inflow. I mean, every grant you get, every money you have, you report it to EFCC every time. So you will know, you will report who gave you the money, their address, how much is the money, what the money is meant for. They take it over to investigate. And if they want to come to your office to check the books, or they have a means of confirming. But I tell you, we register with them, you report to them. Anybody can just check that. Number two, do you know NGO also report to to Financial Reporting Council? CAC, we also file to CAC, Federal Inland Revenue, a whole lot of that we file and we report to. No money comes into this country without the national planning, the Ministry of National Planning knows about it. So if you are now setting up another regulatory body, do you also know that DSS also come into your programs and ask questions where they were not convinced? So now, if you are saying you are now setting up another regulatory body to regulate, what are these institutions doing? So it's a technical way of saying these institutions are failed in their responsibility. So that is just to tell you, I said we go through 14 to register now and to operate effectively. In fact, in some states, if you want to operate in some states, you have to register with that state. The state will have to investigate and then allow you, certify you to work in their state. And I'm telling you the reality. And that is why, if you look at when the bill was presented in the 8th Assembly, some of the civil society and NGO are saying, look, we are even being over-regulated. Just to assist the government to support the citizen, we are even going through these layers of regulation. So, which for me, and I think I am not saying, you remember when I started my conversation, the second question, I said we go through 14 for those that are registered.